Hold on, everyone. I'm just going to walk through price action last week on GBPUSD. So it was the 22nd to the 27th of April. Um, Basically, to start the week, we were in an awful spot. So basically, Monday opened up down here in a very, very bearish market. So we really couldn't look anything for the first couple of days. We just looked for inducement points in general. You've got the supply point here that created this lower low, but it didn't really break through a lot of liquidity, break through a lot of structure. So this wasn't a good spot to look to sell from. So we basically knew the moment this high was broken, it was coming to a minimum, this supply point here, or coming to take out all this liquidity that sits above here. Now, in terms of looking for a trade, buy up, if I jump down to the 15-minute, as you can see, price just never wanted to do that retracement. So it was a bit interesting to look. We did look for a little sell down here, hopefully to come and induce this point here and look for a buy. But unfortunately, just wanted to react straight out of its point on London Open and push up. So basically, when we came into here, it was the middle of New York. This week just made it really impossible to work off anything with structure. Got a reaction up next day coming in, which was Wednesday. Price basically moved up and induced and mitigated into this point and actually took some equal highs on the 15-minute here. So it gave us a little bit of a confirmation that this could be a point where we've retraced to come make a lower low, taking out our weekly low here. So it was quite a nice look. Coming into London, price came down, induced this 15-minute point perfectly. Now, there was a 5-minute entry, but, and we've talked through this through the group, and I'll also do I've done a study on it as well. We had a 1-minute entry model here, basically with the internal inducement here, creating a new high. Really good entry, targeted this opposing liquidity that we can expect it to come to as a minimum, 1 to 6. Now, if you didn't like that entry, there was a 5-minute entry, like I said, which would be off of this 5-minute candle if it wants to let me click. This 5-minute candle here, so you move that up, cover the low, which ran if you take out that liquidity, 1 to 4, and then got to a high of 1 to 5 before being taken out at break even. So this 1-minute entry as well was taken out at break even, unfortunately. But the good thing is, with this inducement here, we got that reaction we wanted, took out that liquidity, coming into New York, had a 5-minute minor inducement into our supply point at the top here. Good decisional point here. The extreme was pretty filled, so I didn't see if price had come back up here. Not only would it fix and finish our daily cycle, but we are bullish intraday. So we can expect price to push through and really take this liquidity. So that's why I didn't love selling from here, but there was a very, very clean entry on the 1-minute as well, which was really nice. I have to go up and find this entry again, just here. Basically, price came in, induced on the 1-minute, gave us a 1-minute entry, 3-pip stop loss, targeting the lows. Now you can go for a more of a swing position, expecting the lows here. Taking the first one, you may hold 50% to this low here, which is where the liquidity is, at least targeting this trend line as a minimum, which is a 1 to 8. If you target the lows, you get your 1 to 10, but it didn't hit it. This trade went 1 to 8.67, but you could have expected this to take out the lows, like I said, to start with. So that's basically those entries there. Then coming into Wednesday, price pushed up, took that high there. Nothing off the inducement of that high. It's really a bad spot here, especially with the amount of liquidity you've got sitting above. You can expect it to be taken. This was a nice area to come from. There was a high here as well that could have come and been taken. But as you can see, basically coming into London was just to push up. No trades in London here. We did take this structure here, which is actually quite a nice structure to take that we could have got a retracement off of. It didn't give us one. And I don't believe it actually gave an entry either. So if I jump down and have a look, I would have marked that if it did. It was really close to giving an entry. Basically, we just need a break of these lows, and you could have set that as an entry, which would have run 1 to 2-ish. Not worth it. Better off to wait for this structure break here. So we got this 15-minute inducement of this high here, which is like on the 4-hour and hourly time frame. But this area in itself is actually a demand to supply point. Very, very small, very, very internal, but it is, which means it holds value for institutions, and there would be people with limits there. So basically taking out that liquidity, giving a good inducement there. We had another confirmation entry on the 1-minute. The 1-minute was great this week in terms of entries. This was a bit out of session and a bit before news, so you can't unfortunately hold this as a swing position, which it did have potential for again, being in a bearish market. Unfortunately, this went 1 to 6. Basically, entry model, come up and sweep, break structure, and then we get our entry model there. So just before news comes out, takes us out, and then continues to melt. Without news, you're looking at a 1 to 22 if it didn't want to come take that liquidity. Coming into the rest of the week, so really 3 nice entries there. What's that? 1 to 6, 1 to 8, and then 1 to 6. And they're the only even 3 entries we could look at in terms of GBPUSD. And all of them hit nicely, no break evens, which is really clean. So coming in, decided not to sweep structure again, so we can't look for buyers. Instead, built up this liquidity here. Borderline equal lows as well. Price ended up sweeping that high like we wanted to again. Good inducement, break to the downside, came into a demand point down the bottom, and that's where we ended the week. No entries in terms of anything here, just because like the news wicks that do this and spike up really take a lot of liquidity, and being around session time really make it difficult for us to find that entry and don't give smooth price. So we weren't even on the charts looking, but there was no entry here. Price never came up and swept this liquidity until it came up here. So that's it for this week. 1 to 6, 1 to 8, and 1 to 6. Very nice price action. Start of the week was awful. Had to get that retracement. So a bit of a patient game this week. But once you got the patience, very nice entries. 5-minute entry, can do 5-minute entry here. This entry had to be on the 1 minute. And this one, the 1-minute entry was nice, and 1-minute entry was nice. So hopefully you guys look at that. We will continue on to next week. And good luck to everyone next week, and we'll go from here.